All right. Hi, I'm Shane with Archway Scientific. We've been manufacturers of the modular buildings for 9 years now, and prior to that, the company was at it for almost 30 years. It's a fully fiberglass unit. That's what's kept us in business for so long. We had to create a building for the show pig industry. That's what this building is. It's very compact. It's virtually indestructible. It's designed that people can use it for a few years. The show pig industry is totally different from pork production. So what we're looking for is a building that will get the kids through 4-H, through FFA, on their projects, or you can use it for the rest of your lifetime. When you're done with it, it's ready to go right down the road. It's very mobile. One of the keys to our buildings for many, many, many years, the beginning of time actually, when we started, is the fiberglassing process that we're doing. It's a 3-stage process, but in the nutshell, when it's done, the building is just like walking into a giant bathtub. We put resin on the walls. We then put the fiberglass mat on, saturate the mat. It hardens and cures overnight. The next day we put gel coat on it, and it makes the building absolutely seamless. The wall, it goes on like wallpaper, so it's overlapping. There's no seams. We started in the ceiling and worked it into the corners here, so there's no seams here. There's not even a seam in the ceiling where the plywood splices together. The plywood splices get the matting on it. So it's virtually, again, like it's indestructible. It's a giant bathtub. It'll hold water if the fan and doors will hold water. So moisture can't get into the structure, and rain and something can't get in from outside because of the steel siding that we're using. The wall panel, we're very well insulated. We have an R22 in the wall, 30 in the ceiling, 30 in the floor, and we use the OSB plywood for the steel siding to screw it to, and then the BC plywood for the fiberglass finish. The building is run by a controller that is tied to the heater and the exhaust fans. And so what we do is we control humidity and temperature. And so for the health of the pig and the environment for the people to work in. If it's cold, this building will handle 35 below weather, and we're going to maintain 72, 75, 85 degrees, whatever temperature we want. The minimum fan behind me sits in the floor, so it takes the foul air out as best we can off the pit. That is variable speed. It runs on temperature and humidity controlled by the controller. And we have a ceiling inlet that this air is drawn in by the negative pressure the fan creates in the building. This is outside air, so in the winter, we have a blending fan that pulls the warm air up from the room and blends it with the cold air coming in. That forms a jet of warmth, so we don't have cold air falling straight down on the floor of the pigs. So we get a lot better mix of air when we pre-mix it with the cold and the warm together. The window is here for power failure. You would open up your window or in your door, or this is where I said you could put the air conditioner. Here's where we're monitoring temperature and humidity. And so this sends a signal back to that controller telling it, the fan, to speed up with higher temperature or speed up with increased humidity, which in turn brings in more air, which in turn the heater cycles and keeps the room drier. And if you're in a very dry climate where there's low humidity, that's where the porta-cool would come in very handy, very efficient, because it will add moisture to the barn. Easy access to it. You get the sow in, the dividers, hold the sow in place, swing wide open, so that we can farrow her, wean her out, and keep the little pigs in here till they're up to 50, 60 pounds. There's telescope size, so we can have larger sows, smaller sows. The creep areas on an angled crate like this are huge, so that these bigger litters have plenty of room to get away from the sow. With heat lamp plugs right above the creep area, the lamps hang here, and the pigs are far away from the sow, so they don't get laid on, and the sow is far away from the heat because she doesn't want that extra heat on her. The feed pan is up in the air, keeping the pigs out of the feed pan from running through it and messing it. And also it adds extra length for the sow. She's got almost 8 feet to lie down. And then there's lay down bars for the bigger sows. They can easily stand up, but when they lay down, the bar keeps them from going down real fast and crushing piglets. This little self-contained building also has a self-contained pit. The fiberglassing that we previously discussed is fully lined in all the pit, and it'll hold the entire farrowing of a month. It has a fiberglass support beam underneath the plastic flooring, so nothing to rot. Very comfortable for the animals. You may want to put a heat mat down for the little piglets, but the sow is quite comfortable on the plastic floor. And it's just a pull plug deal where you want to set the building at a slight slope and then flush it with your power washer. The pull plug will be installed when it's decided where the best place for the plug to go. And it'll go right down through the floor and be a 6-inch pipe coming out of the bottom of the building where your manure will leave the building. The building's going to sit in a cement pad, and you'll have a knockout where the pipe goes into the bottom of the building. The pad is your responsibility. Features of it, we do have offered a sink for washing hands and syringes. We have a meter man controller for drip cooling. What that's going to do, it's going to drip a little water on the sow's back to keep her cool in the hot weather. All the buildings have fluorescent 4-foot lights. We can move to LEDs. It seems to be a way to the future. Transportation is your responsibility coming and getting it. That's why we designed it with just 9.5 feet of width, so you don't need any special permitting and stuff to travel down the road with it. It comes fully wired, plumbed for power and gas, and then like I talked about the pull plug. So it's all set up and ready to go. You just need to bring utility hookups to it when you get the building home. It could be very easily picked up with a couple of forklifts or a very small crane. The building weighs just a shade over 8,000 pounds. And it has 4 crates in it. It's ready to go.